Hello to all you Patriots out there in podcast land, and welcome to episode 188 of Canadian Patriot Podcast, the number one live podcast in Canada. We're recording on June 24th, 2019.
Hi, I'm Gavin. I am still shocked that there was a shooting at the Raptors victory parade in Toronto, and I've also now accomplished 2 successful shots at 1 mile.
Well done. My name is Ian. I'm a hobby farmer on Vancouver Island. In order to get some of Trudeau's media money, they needed a Western-based diversity hire, so please talk slowly.
As always, my name is Andrew. I'm a recovering libertarian, competitive shooter of firearms instructor at Ragnarok Tactical.
We'd love to hear your feedback about the show. Please visit CanadianPatriotPodcast.com/feedback or email us at feedback@CanadianPatriotPodcast.com. A version of the show is available on Stitcher and iTunes.
You can find the podcast on all the greatest social media, or I guess the unmonitored. I don't know what we're doing with social media. We don't really use Instagram. I'm sorry. We still have a thing. It's Canadian Patriot Podcast. We're also on Facebook. That one we do use to let you know when the show is going live. And occasionally we post some other things. Facebook.com/Canadian Patriot Podcast.
We need your help. To support the show, visit patreon.com/CPP and become a patron. You can get a better quality version of the show for just $1 per episode. The more you pledge, the better rewards are. Show you're not a communist. Buy a CPP t-shirt for just $19.99 plus shipping and theft. Visit CanadianPatriotPodcast.com and follow the link on the right.
All right, it's time to do What Are We Drinking? Every week, What Are We Drinking is brought to us by Arrowhead Coffee. Arrowhead Coffee is owned and operated by Canadian Armed Forces veterans. They love our country, the true north, strong and free, their family and friends. Join Arrowhead Coffee on their hunt for the perfect brew to raise morale and bring that feeling of home to you no matter where you are. A portion of all profits helps Canadian Armed Forces members, veterans, and their families. So now we get to do What Are You Drinking? We'll start with Gavin. Gavin, what are you drinking?
I am drinking Jack and Coke Zero once again this evening.
Okay. Ian, what are you drinking?
Unfortunately, I am drinking the elixir of the wage cuck, green tea tonight.
I would have figured that it was government juice. You know, good old gay frog causing tap water.
Well, I got some of that too. I mean,
I thought you were going to say grape drink.
Does grape drink cause gay frogs?
Well, I mean, you got to use tap water to make it, so I guess.
Okay, I had not considered it that way. I am drinking Crown Royal Maple, and I just had a beer. It was something red. It was Tree Topper from North Bay. It was reasonably good. Doesn't really need to do a lot of show notes updating when we drink the same thing we always drink.
Yeah,
that's true.
All right, I want to talk about service rifle and precision rifle, and then we're going to do the news, because gun stuff at the beginning of the podcast for a change. Usually I put gun stuff at the bottom of the deck, but I want to talk about gun stuff first, because I've recently been called out about my lack of gunning, my lack of knowing of the laws of guns in this country, and my lack of ability to use guns. So I want to dispel all of these myths, even though I may occasionally imbibe a lot of whiskey and misspeak, and then usually my learned colleagues, mostly Ian, correct us.
Am I that guy?
Well, actually, I think in the particular case where I recently made a mistake about what I said with C-71, Gavin corrected me, because I had mentioned that background checks in general were now going to be 10 years, and Gavin was correct in saying that they were lifetime background checks now when you apply for a firearms license.
Yes, how dare you, Andrew? How dare you?
I don't have the entire bill memorized, but that's okay. I also don't have the giant book on firearms law, or the giant books on the Highway Traffic Act.
That's all right, because I'm pretty sure that this panel knows a hell of a lot more about firearms law than the RCMP does. So,
the Queen's Cowboys should be in charge of as little as possible.
Agreed.
Or alternatively, every time they lose a gun, we just remove one more gun law from the books.
Ooh, yes.
Ooh.
I would be in favor of that.
That'd be a libertarian utopia in 5 years or less.
Yeah.
I mean, like each time that you lose an issued weapon, we get to remove one section of the Firearms Act.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Thermonuclear
something like
devices
that.
for all.
That's right. And we get to pick the section, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think we're going to start with, I don't know. If you could remove one section of the Firearms Act today, what would you remove?
Oh, the subcompact pistols.
Yeah.
Subcompact pistols, and what were you going with, Gavin? Suppressors?
Well, just like prohib stuff. Just like.
No, you get to remove one section of the Firearms Act.
Yeah, I would probably go suppressors then. Yeah, for sure. Or full auto.
I don't want to be that guy, but I would actually remove Section 29.
Okay, I'm not sure which one Section 29 is.
Section 29 is the CFO's ability to regulate shooting ranges.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's true.
I mean, really, if this actually happened, like they'd all be gone in no time. So
I mean, like, okay, so it's not suppressors, it's not full auto, it's not even full cap mags, but
we could call anything a shooting range.
I could just go anywhere and shoot my guns as long as it was legal, and no more government bureaucracy interfering with my ability to enjoy my sport.
Yeah, that kind of does away with the whole ATT and all of that stuff.
Well, it negates a bunch of other things that are just annoying factors. Because machine guns are cool, but it only impacts some people that want to own machine guns. And suppressors are cool, but again, like Section 29, though, everybody that owns restricted and prohibited now gets to just go and use them.
Yeah, no, I like it. But I mean, like I said, I don't think there's a wrong answer in this, because if this was to ever really happen, like Ian said, within 5 years they'd be all gone. So
this is
it's just you pick somewhere, and at the end we'll just not have any.
Oh, I have to filibuster for a moment while I copy and paste links.
No, I don't need it. I found it. We're here.
Oh my gosh, you got it. I just saw your comment on the YouTube.
Yeah.
So
I clicked on 187 by accident.
I'm so glad you're here, everyone. David, listeners, you've met. I'm sure.
Yeah. I think Dave made his first appearance like way back when, like the podcast charity shoot. Yeah, we're coming up almost on a year.
Yeah, almost exactly.
Wow, yeah. That's pretty good. So you've been on like 3 times in a year. That's
better than some panelists.
No, actually, so I'm glad you're here, because the thing that I wanted to talk about, which we just went off on a tangent, I guess.
It worked out well.
Catch you up where everyone else is. What are you drinking?
We're just we're keeping it light tonight. We need to get fluids back in from that weekend.
Yeah, I drank 8 liters of water and 3 liters of coffee on the weekend. I'm not sure if I did it right or not, but I still haven't had to pee.
Yeah. It's still way too yellow according to the chart on the wall.
Yeah, it's fine. If it's yellow, you're fine. It's when it starts to look like Guinness that you've got a problem.
Yeah.
So Dave and I spent the weekend together in a totally non-romantic, heteronormative fashion.
A super manly fashion, yes.
Incredibly manly, laying next to one another, caressing our rifles.
It is your guys' month, so
it is Pride Month. That's true.
It's true.
And we did have many multicolored flags up at the range, although they were not rainbow colored.
No. Yes.
But Dave and I spent the weekend in I guess central Ontario, shooting service rifle and precision rifle. So Dave, you have the privilege of being the precision rifle match director this year for the Ontario Rifle Association.
Yeah, it was kind of voluntold bestowed upon me, but precision.
Yeah, how's that work? If you want to have a precision rifle match, you fucking do it. Something like that.
Yeah, basically, exactly. And precision, I've become quite fond of it. It's probably my favorite sport. It's not too it's very relaxing, but also very rewarding at the same time. And I feel like it's a thinking man's game when it comes to reading the wind, loading your own ammo, making your rifle exactly the way you want it. There's a lot of different aspects to it that are very enjoyable on many levels. And so I started doing my shooting up at Petawawa with Barney, and he's a great guy in the community. And I wanted it. Petawawa was great, but man, it's a far drive. So I wanted something a little closer to home. So in order for that to happen, I need to keep this going in more of a central Ontario type location. So I'm like, well, gotta do it. Let's do it.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you did it. So, I mean, so you and I both have match directorships of different disciplines in the Ontario Rifle Association.
Mhm.
The Ontario Rifle Association is one of our PRAs. Every province has one, although whether it is not currently active depends on each province. I know for sure BC, Alberta, Ontario all have active provincial rifle associations. I am not positive on other provinces.
Mhm.
And the disciplines that they offer vary by province. In Ontario, we have a very active service conditions type group. So the service conditions events encompass precision rifle, service rifle, and CQB, which is a carbine and pistol discipline.
Yeah, much more closer.
Yeah, a lot closer. So I guess precision rifle. Why don't we start with that? That was Sunday. That was a good time. This was your
Yeah, so,
go as a match director.
yeah. So my first go as a match director, it went pretty well.
Yeah, I thought it was a good time.
Yeah, the weather was perfect. Everybody, it seemed like pretty much everybody had fun. There's always a few hiccups, and it's a little, hectic at first. Like, oh, like at one point I felt a little bad. We were at the line there. And I was like, load your rifles. Oh wait, don't load your rifles. Hold on, we got to see everything. But that's just comes with time. Doing it and being in charge and running it through. But
Yeah, well, and we have a bunch of special considerations to be aware
yeah,
of because of the nature of the ranges that we use and
yeah,
other users of those ranges, and they're a little bit different than average. But
Hey, nobody's perfect, especially right out of the gate.
yeah.
no,
But,
I think it went very well. But we should probably talk about what precision rifle actually is and how it works.
okay, so yeah, it's basically goes by the National Service Conditions Rule Book, which is written by the DCRA, and it's basically a shot at distances from 200 and then every 100 yards all the way back to 800. There's basically a different match shot at each distance, and then 6, 7, and 800 is the same match, just further away, obviously. So basically, and you're shooting at figure 12s, figure 14s, figure 11s.
Yeah,
For those
so we
that don't
use-
know,
those,
you
yeah.
should probably
Just Google it. It'll come up. They're basically, you got a head size target, then a 1/3 target, and basically a whole person target kind of thing, like outline kind of thing.
Yeah, the targets that we use are the Commonwealth rifle targets that a lot
Yeah.
of Commonwealth militaries use. That's where they get their names from. The figure such and such is a military ordering number.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So your figure 11 is your full size ish charging man target. So it's
Mhm.
a guy with a rifle that's what's the width on one of those? It's about 14 inches.
It's 14 or 18 inches, I think.
Yeah, and
I
they're
mean,
not
it's probably 14.
and they're not quite 4 feet tall because they're kind of
Yeah.
we shrink them down a little bit.
Yeah, those are what we shoot at 600 yards and back, and yeah, it doesn't leave much room for error when you're trying to call wind at that distance. I mean, as we saw on Sunday, there was but a wisp of breeze, but even just slightly changing directions was pulling us
Oh, we were
almost all
getting
the
a
way
lot
off
of wind
target.
shift.
Yeah, it was flip flopping back and forth. We'll have to take the smarter lanes like the other guys next time.
Yeah, next time.
Yeah.
So Dave and I ended up shooting together. Precision rifle is shot as a pair, alternating. So one person shoots while the other person keeps score and spots for them, and then you switch.
Mhm.
And you shoot at the various distances, and everybody takes a turn in the. There's gallery butts that we use. So you go down under cover into a bunker, and you put the targets up above your head, and people shoot over, and you're behind a berm, and there's another berm down range the bullets impact into, but you're in a dead spot where you can't be seen from the firing line, but you're where the targets are, and the targets are either handhelds, they're on a 2x2 that you put up, or they're on a weighted elevator system where you move the elevator and they bring the targets up onto on a platform, and then you put the elevator down and you can do work on the targets from under the cover.
Yeah, and at 400 yards, we shot the movers. How was your first time doing the tomahawk method?
You know what? I think I prefer the service rifle turn and flip, but the
Yeah.
the whole axe the target up it works fine. The
Mhm.
biggest thing is as long as the target presentations are consistent. It is cool that precision rifle we do get to do moving targets because that's something that we don't get to practice on the vast majority of ranges because we generally don't have access to these gallery ranges where we can have people
Down there.
move the targets. Because this is
Yeah.
one of those things like the target is on a 2x2 piece of wood that's 7 feet long or whatever it is. So you
Mhm.
hold the bottom of it, and the target pokes up over the top of the berm, so the shooters can see it and shoot at it.
Yeah, and then when people hit in dead center, they're shattering they're cracking wood splinters all over your head, raining down on you.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
it's good.
we have options to shoot 2, 3, 4, 500 yards at different matches, and then like you said, 6, 7, and 8 are all 25-minute deliberates. So you get 12 and a half minutes per shooter
Mhm.
if you divide it up evenly.
Mhm.
6, 7, 8 are always delivered. It's always shot on figure 11s in a 4-foot frame. So even if you hit the 4-foot by 4-foot target board, you get points.
Mhm. Exactly.
The I don't particularly care about the deliberates. I enjoy the closer in stuff, the
Yeah.
rapid follow up and the agony snap.
Yeah, the 200 is always my favorite. It's such a great warm up, and you got to cycle that bolt. You basically get 8 seconds. You have two targets. You got to shoot at both of them in 8 seconds. So you really got with a bolt action rifle, you really got to cycle that bolt quick and get back on target. So it's a lot of fun. It's probably my favorite match, and generally pretty easy. Once you get good at it, and you got your equipment dialed in, you can get pretty good at that match too. It's not hard to be good at it.
No, I enjoy that. And the 400 yard mover. Movers are always fun.
Yeah.
I enjoy shooting movers, which is one of the best parts of service rifle, I think. But the fact that we do 400 movers in PR is always a good time.
Absolutely. And then how was service rifle for you?
Service rifle for me was very good. This is the best service rifle match I've shot. We have a new course of fire this year. We worked out, well, I shouldn't say we, I was asked for my input, but the match director worked out a new course of fire that's a hybrid between CAFSAC, the Canadian Armed Forces Small Arms Concentration, and NSCC course of fire, the National Service Conditions Championship.
Which us, the civilians, can shoot at.
Yeah, so CAFSAC is Army only, and NSCC is military, law enforcement, and civilians. I think that the service rifle format, the way that we're going to do it this year, the way that we're trying it, is fantastic. There's room for some improvements.
Yeah, there definitely is.
A couple of things that we can change timing and points wise, but I mean,
it's just funny that he fought us on it so hard at the beginning of the year because I mean it's working out pretty good.
well, and it's just that it's a very different system from how we've done it previously, and part of that is like even as recently as 3 years ago, it was a 2-day program. You couldn't do service rifle in Ontario in a single day because of the course of fire we were using.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very difficult to get people out. I think last year getting it down to a 1-day course of fire, and now this year getting it so that people that are going to NSCC have the opportunity to practice more of the type of shooting that they're going to do at NSCC.
Going to NSCC?
Yeah. Put your hand up if you're going to NSCC this year.
Yeah.
Dave and I are going to try and shoot on the same relay, I hope, because I want to spend time with some friends at NSCC. So I mean, it's good. Service rifle this year is going to be shot a little differently in Ontario than how it's been done previously. It's like I say, it's a hybrid between the CAFSAC and the NSCC course of fire. Distances for service rifle are 100 to 500 yards. We shoot it as a series of 3 matches. It's always the same 3 matches. Each match is made up of 5 stages. The stages are basically more or less always the same.
Yeah, pretty much.
Deliberate, snap, rapid, rundown, and then the rundowns vary a little bit depending on the distances that we shoot at. So the first match is shot at 200 yards. It's deliberate, so you lay on your stomach, shoot from the prone, fire your sighters, fire 5 rounds for score. No, pardon me, fire 10 rounds for score. And then you shoot your snap. So starting in standing alert, you get into a kneeling position. You fire your 2. In the rapid, when the target appears, you have 30 seconds. You fire all 10 shots on 2 targets, so 5 per each. And then we do the rundown. And the rundown is what it sounds like. So starting at the 200, when the target appears, everybody runs down a 100-yard dash, and then we do something. Yeah, and something changes a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of the theme for service rifles is the rundown. You're always doing some shooting, and then you're moving up, and then advancing and firing. It's simulating attacking a entrenched position.
Yeah, and this is all based on the reason this all sounds like military and kind of militia-y is this is all stuff that's based on the CAFSAC courses of fire, and it's all stuff that's been ripped out of the military personal weapons tests. So these are all skills at arms that soldiers would use annually as part of their personal weapons tests or PWTs, as well as to compete at CAFSAC and NSCC. And really, that's the
being
whole
proficient with your rifle.
Yeah, and this is the whole purpose for why the Ontario Rifle Association exists: is skill at arms, and we are, as members of the Ontario Rifle Association, part of our mandate is to help provide training to the military should they desire it. So, for example, this weekend we had an Air Force team with us.
Yep.
So there was some guys from one of the local Air Force establishments, and they came out, and they're going to be going to CAFSAC, and they were using this as a training opportunity because, well, it is not the CAFSAC course of fire. It's the skills that they're going to be using. So it's an opportunity for them to come out, and they don't have to worry about running the bots and arranging targets and doing all of the other administrative work. That's what our dirty civilians can take care of because we're good at it.
And Andrew, actually, how old is the ORA?
151 years.
Just thought I'd throw that out there.
Last year was our sequicentennial. Yeah. We are one of the oldest public service organizations in the country.
Yeah. So not just weekend posers that want to be militia, that's for sure.
Nope. We are an officially recognized
Clearly, firearms
organization.
is not a heritage thing in Canada at all.
But yeah, we have no high firearms heritage. Just thought I'd remind the listeners for that one because that's an important part.
No, 100%.
Well, and this is the thing, because it is unusual. We shoot with the military. We compete against the military. We use military targets. We use military terminology, and we're there to help provide training to the military should they desire it.
But it's all in the name of fun, right?
Yeah, but we're also there to compete and have a good time.
Yeah, it's just literally all fun.
Some of us are there to win.
Yeah.
Or in my case, second loser.
Yes. Yeah, when I was in PET, I was shooting with there was a sniper team at the PR match in PET. All great guys. A lot of fun.
No, and I mean that's the thing. Green or blue or dirty civilians, the people that come out to these matches and events, it's always a good time. It's always good people. We very rarely have problems.
Yeah, you're all talking amongst each other about your gear, about what works, what's not, and it's just general good times had by all weekend long. Especially the way it's been going last year and this year. I love the setup where SR is Saturday and then PR shot Sunday. It just makes for an entire weekend of awesomeness once a month.
Yeah, it's super good shooting. It's a lot of fun. I would strongly recommend that anyone with an AR-15 or a handgun tries service rifle or CQB, because those are, service rifle is the AR sport. Mm-hmm. Like as far as I'm concerned, like you're shooting to 500 yards, you're carrying 55 rounds of ammunition for each of the 3 matches. You're doing rundowns, you're shooting from positions, so it's standing, sitting, kneeling, prone, I guess, or squatting. You can also do squatting in place of kneeling. Mm-hmm. It's not super physically taxing because it is a 100-yard rundown, but you also have 45 seconds to move 100 yards. Like you can get there with a quick walk.
Yeah, I've been told by my coach to slow the fuck down.
Yeah, you sprint. You sprint, sir.
Yeah, he's saying at NSCCs we actually are going to be taking a couple of shots and then moving on. So he's like, slow down because you're not going to have as much time to catch your breath. So, yes, this makes sense.
Yeah.
I got to work on pacing myself.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of my things. I sent some feedback about now that we've done this match. There's some timing things that can be changed.
Mm-hmm.
You probably also don't want to be too far in front if other people are taking shots.
Well, and that's so when everybody moves as a group, and this is all done in a very organized way. And well, it may sound unusual, and that's probably because I'm not doing a fantastic job of describing it. And the first time you go out and do it, and you see what's going on, it seems very haphazard. But everything is done under very specific sets of instructions, and everyone is told repeatedly how to do everything.
Yeah, you're carrying your rifle by its handle, safety's on. Moving down range. It's safe.
It's very safe.
Yeah.
And
Oh no, I
mean,
have no doubt of that. I'm just saying that Dave was saying if you're moving and then you're going to be taking shots while you're moving, you don't want to be too far in front.
well, or you could get like a certain person that I know and get all excited that you're at service rifle and decide to start doing a rundown when you're only moving 5 meters, not 100 meters.
Yeah.
And
I
was
might have
like, "Huh?"
overshot I might have overshot the berm slightly on the first match because I was like, "It's time to do a run." Oh no, wait, no, rundowns don't happen
I was
now.
about to like reach beside me.
Right.
And I was like, "There's no grabbing you. You're like 5 yards away."
Yeah,
Did you yell out like a fixed bayonet as you were charging?
no.
You should have
no,
seen it. He was ready. He was ready.
I was super excited to be doing service rifle, and I
Yeah, it
I
was literally the
definitely
first
overshot
match
the
of the
berm.
day. First match of the day. I
Yeah,
totally
that
understood where he was
happens.
coming from. I was gonna follow him right. I would have been right behind him. I would have been right behind you, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So
All good.
the takeaway from this for our listeners is if you have not contacted your provincial rifle association, looked into service rifle, and looked into the Dominion of Canada Rifle Association and the national service conditions matches in Ottawa, I would strongly encourage you to do that. There are other disciplines if you want to wear funny leather bondage gear and break for T at 2. You could always shoot target rifle. That's a thing.
And single load. I don't know why
Yeah,
anybody would
yeah.
ever want to do single shot, but anyways.
But there's a bunch of other, and every provincial rifle association is a little bit different about what programs they offer. So I look at
Yeah.
your provincial rifle association and see if there's something there. But if you're in Southern Ontario, strongly recommend the Ontario Rifle Association and get into our service rifle program because it's super fun.
And then come out to a relaxing
it's the
shoot the
best
next day.
use of it's the best use of an AR, and then come out and shoot precision rifle and lay on your stomach for 4 hours.
Yeah, just shoot at targets a long way off. It's very relaxing.
But I think the important thing too is also gets you access to ranges normally you wouldn't be able to get
Yeah.
onto.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
shoot on
Well,
a
and
1,000-yard range. So
Yeah, 1,000
well,
yards with wind flags the whole way down if you so desire.
once I shoot 1,000, I'm gonna get you to make a patch, possibly, Gavin. I'll start handing them out at the matches even.
Well, and while you guys were shooting amateur distances this weekend, I was down in Utah once again, and we started at 1,000 yards, and then went to
That was warming up.
1,100, and then 1,300, and then I made the shot at a mile, which is 1,760 yards. I think it is the correct distance for a mile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With a man caliber.
Yeah, my 338 Lapua, and its new chassis with its new optic had enough elevation and a few mils to spare. So
Nice. You're gonna have to let me fire that bad boy one day.
and it hit it twice, so it wasn't a fluke. The second shot was even after getting up off the rifle, talking, and then laying back down and hitting it again that next shot. So
Wow.
Not a fluke. So,
Favorable conditions.
Yeah, the weather was perfect when I was out in Utah actually for shooting. It was
Awesome.
like a nice 17 degrees.
Nice sleeping weather.
Yeah.
Did you guys camp out again?
Yeah, we certainly did. Drank a lot of alcohol, had a little bit of a bonfire, camped out, and just to show that we have the better metrics than the pod cart, I did open and conceal carry in Utah as well as hit the mile. So beat that, Trevor.
Just winning
I think
everywhere.
it's also important to point out that you were concealed carrying a Glock 34 with a light.
Yes, it's a
That is a big piece to conceal carry, sir.
Yeah.
The struggle is real. As we just
Yeah. It certainly is. Especially
Is that
when
a
you go
Glock with a flashlight in your pocket, or are you just happy to see everybody?
Yeah, the struggle is certainly real when you have to go and take a shit at a Carl's Jr. and you don't have anywhere to put it.
So the change tables are awesome, right?
Yeah, especially when it's inside the stall.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
Let's see, to round things out, I decided to shoot at 25 yards with the 22. So we kind of covered
There you
everything.
go. Hey, well, 25
Did you become
yards
a
with a
rifleman?
22 is, yeah.
Well, actually, it's kind of funny. I was practicing for the Maple Seed, and I took some of those challenge targets they have off the website, and I was sighting in a different scope onto the 22. I got myself all hepped up to go, and then, my work extended me, and unfortunately, I completely missed the day over in Camel River. Yeah. So, come on.
Yeah, I want to go just to get the patch again. I went last year at the charity shoot last year, and it was pretty good. But I want to get that damn patch, and then
Well, I got my Maple Seed Rifleman patch
Yeah, I
last
know
year
you
at the
did.
cherry shoot.
Yeah, you could.
And I think I'd like to go back and do it with a larger gun, because doing it with a 22 was
Yeah.
fun. I think doing it with an AR-15 would be a lot more
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I would agree with you, Andrew. I definitely want to go because I think I missed it just by a couple of points, but I would like to do it with an AR or something
Yeah.
equally
I'd like
loud
to
and
do it with my
obnoxious.
AR.
Yeah, I'll bring my 18.6. That'll
I was
get me
just
like
say-
even closer.
or
to
just
the
a
bear.
muzzle braked 223 bolt or something.
Yeah,
No, I
think-
did. I mean, I like 22. I just didn't find that it was like it was not a
Consistent.
great shooting experience for me. Actually, I've spent way too much time and effort on this 22. I probably have more work on my 22 right now than I have on my PR rifle, my 308 that we used to shoot 800 yards.
yeah.
But-
I just use my wife's stock 1022. I think the only thing we've done to it is the auto bolt release and a tougher buffer. Everything else is pretty much stock. So
Well, if we do it again, Andrew, I'll bring the new 7.5 and use that. I can hold that. I can
that's
hold
one
that thing
option.
up for
All day long.
hours, so that won't be a problem. Like with when I was shooting it with my 22 last time, which is basically set up for 22 PRS.
PRS,
Not
yeah.
exactly ideal for
Yeah,
Maple Seed.
That's what I was learning with mine. The heaviness of it is actually detrimental to
Yeah,
holding that thing freehand, basically.
yeah. Little tiny AR. Oh yeah.
I mean,
Mm.
I'm not going to tell you guys you're doing it wrong, but I feel like you're doing it wrong. Between the sling and the bone support
I
and
was
being
gonna
on the
say-
ground and shooting the prone, I feel like you're not doing it right.
I think they cover the sling use, don't they, in the course?
All I'm gonna say is
yeah, I
when
don't
I
know which
shot
one
a
I was thinking.
mile, I didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
saying.
I'm just going to point out that I'm comfortably able to hit walking speed targets at 400 yards.
Yeah,
Take that
same
for
here.
what it's worth, government
Yeah.
agent who's listening to today's show.
I'm comfortably able to say 800 yards, put it in a spot about this big, twice.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah.
Beebles for
You
days.
did the Veeble. Yeah,
Well,
you. It's funny. Dave and I got the same score. We both shot 120 points of precision rifle, but Dave beat me with 8 Veebles to my 3.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So I was pounding the centers a little bit more often.
Yeah, I was a little bit less on than you. That's okay though.
you were considerably, or consistently mediocre, while Dave was a little bit high and low. Would you
Yeah,
say is that
well,
a fair assessment?
Basically.
Let's just go back to Saturday. What did you place at service rifle? Was it in the
Ninth
top
or-
3?
No,
Yeah.
hell no.
Yeah, so
Hell no. It was a bad
I'm
day.
gonna let you have those 6 Veebles or whatever it was
Yeah.
on Sunday, and I'll
Yeah.
take my weird Taiwanese knife that I won.
No, it's a fair trade. It's a fair trade. I'll be
Oh, yeah,
back.
P.S.
I'll be
if
back
you-
in. Go ahead.
I was gonna say if you show up to service rifle, you might win a weird Taiwanese knife. I got a cold steel knife that I won as a draw.
Yeah,
'Cause
it's
when
like
we
a,
have
it's like a
peop-
mini kukri.
Yeah, when we have 20 people show up, we draw a knife.
Nice.
Exactly.
Prizes.
More prizes, exactly.
Prizes.
I'm coming back in July with some better gear. I need to fix that buttstock issue, but we'll be back. Back better than ever. I was having cheek weld issues for me personally.
Yeah.
I was doing
It
5
was hot. The
sighters.
sun was in your eyes. I get it.
Yeah. I was getting like perfect shots on my sighters, and then I do my 10 shots for score, and they're all like at the top of the paper for 3-point shots instead of the 5. It was pretty aggravating. I mean, I did okay, but I know I can definitely do better. So definitely chomping at the bit to go again already, and it's only been a day and a half since the course of
Yeah.
fire.
I'd be happy to go back again.
Yeah.
Shall we do some news?
Yeah.
Sure.
I'd say it's about that time.
Autism for half an hour?
Yeah.
All right. Different kind of autism. Let's talk about the Huffington Post. Shout out to the big gay flag on the banner at the top. That's not even a euphemism. Like, it's literally like it's Pride Month. They've got a giant icon. All right, the news.
Gotta pander to the gays. It's their month.
What? No,
Fuck
no,
them for
no.
the
we're
other
pandering-
11 months of the year, but this
There'll be no
month
Let me
is
pandering.
get
all
through the
there.
thing. There's a different group that we need to pander to right now.
Oh.
Justin Trudeau urges Canadian Muslims to make themselves important to the Conservative Party.
Important.
See, we're pandering to a different group now.
Well, I guess it is
So-
coming up to the next month, so their month is waning.
Wait, the Muslims or the gays?
it's not the gay month anymore. It won't be for that much longer. So their month is
thought it was
waning, and now we get into the next group we pander to.
I
It's
thought
a
it was just
transition
starting.
period.
So it's okay. I was gonna make a joke about transitions, but I'm deciding to not do that.
But you're not Dr. Pepper.
I'm not Dr. Pepper.
And you're not
Yeah.
talking about glasses, are we?
Yeah.
No. So this was at an Eid dinner at the Canadian Muslim Vote in Toronto.
Yep.
This was this past week. So the Prime Minister, 5 members of the cabinet, including the first openly Muslim cabinet member, Marian Monsef, because they keep pointing out that Marian Monsef is in
Wasn't
fact Muslim.
she supposed to be booted out though because she
Of
may
the
not even be
country.
allowed to be in the country? Yeah, it's weird that they
Yes.
never resolved that.
No,
Yes,
but
weird.
Yeah.
anyway, there are 5 cabinet ministers, including Monsef, the PM, John Tory, the mayor of Toronto, a couple of Conservative MPs, and a couple of NDP people. Is Jagmeet Singh even in Parliament at this point? Like, does he actually have a riding, or is he just the head of their party in his interim still?
No, he
Well,
won a by-election in Vancouver.
Oh, good.
area.
He did win that by-election. Good. So, okay. So he actually does have a seat.
Well,
then. That's good.
I wouldn't say good, but I would say he won.
I don't know about good.
Well, in that so far as that he's actually
Good for him. Yeah.
Yeah, good for him. That's what I'm
Yeah.
getting at. Yes,
I'm glad he's able to start the clock on his pension. That's fantastic.
That's what you want.
Well, I mean, it's not like he can go to India because they won't take him.
That's true.
That's true. So the NDP was there, led by Mr. Singh, the Toronto super fan, that Nav Bada guy that's been in a bunch of videos. I think everybody that was running
the super
rainbow-colored banners,
guy.
banners. They're now also running interviews with him. I'm sure he is. He owns a car dealership. He's like an engineer or something.
Yeah, he does a lot of things for charity wise for bringing kids to the games and stuff like that.
Yeah, I not an issue with it. I thought he was an unusual choice to have as a speaker at this event.
Yes, that is weird though. I don't know what he's doing there.
Isn't he a Sikh?
Yeah, he wears a turban. Yeah, he's Sikh.
Yeah, and he's speaking at the Eid dinner thing, but whatever.
That makes no sense. Weird.
And not that he's not doing good things, but like his claim to fame is that he really, really likes basketball.
Yeah, I mean, he should not be mixing politics with anything that he does because that will ruin my view of him, to be honest with you.
Well,
just try and stay unpolitical if possible, but I mean, I don't know.
I don't think that's going to happen, but good luck.
Yeah. yeah.
So the Prime Minister has decided that he's going to urge. Well, let me read the quote that he said, because there's 1,500 people there, and this is what our Prime Minister had to tell them. I want you to encourage conservative Muslims to get out and help their local conservative candidate, to go knock on doors, to donate to the Conservative Party, to attend a rally for the Conservative leader. I want you to make Muslim volunteers important to the Conservatives so that never again would any mainstream party in Canada think that it's a good idea to stoke fears and divisions against Muslims or any other group of Canadians.
And did we do that?
Round of applause. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of this is reactionary to the whole pissing match they had in Parliament about Bill M103, the whole "we're not Islamophobes" bill.
Yeah, but it's weird because when the Conservatives put their bill out, they kept the Islam part, but just added other religions to it.
Well, and that was the primary thing with the pissing contest between Scheer and Trudeau, was that one was singling out one group, and Scheer didn't think that we should single out one religion for a bill in our federal government for some reason. Almost like we shouldn't pander to people to get their votes.
Yeah. But hey, if he's going to encourage the Muslim community to get out and vote Conservative, I am all for that. So thank you, Trudeau.
I don't know what you're fucking thinking, but thank you.
He said, even though it's going to make my life as a Liberal leader a little more difficult, but you know what else would make it more difficult? Losing an election.
Yeah, no,
and that's kind of my take on this, is that this seems like hey, we recognize that everybody's a little bit different, and maybe you want to look at the other parties and see if they line up with your beliefs as a conservative Muslim, if that's a thing. I don't really.
Yeah, it's kind of
I'm
like
not
an
sure how you
oxymoron.
square that up. I mean, like, you. Yeah, I'm not sure how you square that up.
Oxymoron. It doesn't really go together.
No, but hey, I for one highly encourage all Muslims to vote conservative, and all Jews and Catholics and Buddhists,
Sikhs, Hindus,
yeah, Sikhs,
everybody.
yeah,
But not those
atheists,
Protestants.
yeah, yeah. Goddamn Presbyterians, get off my lawn.
Yeah, no, I think we should all listen to the PM and we should all vote conservative in the next election. Not because I necessarily think that's a good choice or I agree politically or I agree with the party's politics, but dear Canada, please, not
Please,
another
please.
term of Trudeau.
Yeah,
So help me God. So help me
Yeah.
God.
Where's my? I have a button for this.
Dear Canada, you.
That's what happens when you vote for Trudeau, guys.
yeah.
Oh, so many fucks.
Oh yeah, no,
So many U's.
yeah. I mean, if you vote Trudeau again, it's like you've taken like a little baby beaver and you've just kicked him square in the jimmy. That's what you've done.
You clubbed that baby seal right on
Yeah.
the head.
Yeah, that
Square.
giant rubber
Right
duck is
between
crying.
the eye. Right between the eyes.
A single solitary tear will run down that rubber duck's face because he's truly the sign of our country.
Yes.
Yeah,
Voting
so
explode.
I'm not really sure what the PM was getting at with this, but I strongly encourage him to tell his supporters to go and vote for other parties. I think that
Yes, as long
that
as
is
it's
one
the
time-
Press party.
The
Yeah.
one time I encourage him to keep talking.
Yeah.
The one time.
all right. Other people that should not be talking. We've got a Toronto Sun article. Ottawa teacher.
God.
There is no such thing as girls and boys.
Yeah, I read this article today. It just makes me sad.
Well, you should read all the articles in the show notes. That's why I do all the prep.
Yeah.
We have show notes?
Oh yeah.
You guys
No
can
way.
read.
Oh wow!
I'm gonna just put a sign over my bar that says show prep.
Man, I need to get a bar. That's actually not a bad name for a bar.
Yeah.
What?
All
show
right,
prep?
so yeah, I drink there.
Yeah, if we ever come out with our own alcohol, it's going to be called show notes.
CPP's show notes.
So Toronto parents of a 6-year-old have filed a complaint with the Human Rights Tribunal because their teacher doesn't understand gender theory.
Or science.
Or well, apparently. So this is again, I have buttons for this. This is like
Oh, you can't do that. That'll get us banned on Facebook.
this is now reverse discrimination or something. So their 6-year-old daughter does not identify as transgendered or any other made up thing. She thinks she's a little girl, and now she's all confused and is suffering from gender dysphoria because her teacher told her that girls don't exist.
She's more
And the best
confused
part
than
is
that.
the school board doubled down and supported the teacher.
Well,
my God.
the school board is required to support the teacher, right? That's their move.
Even
I
in
don't think they have another move.
in the face of absolute ludicrousness, but
Well, yes, but if they don't back the teacher on this, then they don't have to back all the teachers on all of the ludicrous things.
You know, it's one thing if you want to talk about this in, a grade 12 class.
Well, and I have a lot of problems with this. Like the whole, like this is first grade, six. Like
Yeah.
the kids are 6 years old and they're watching YouTube videos called "He, She, and They."
Yeah.
Question mark! Exclamation point! Question mark! Gender. Queer kid stuff number 2. And then going on to like further encourage the lesson about the whole some people aren't boys or girls and there aren't such things as boys and girls and gender is made up and you're not any of these things.
So I have a question. If teachers are asking for more money and all of this and that and everything else, why the fuck are they watching YouTube in the class?
Because this person is clearly not qualified to be a teacher. Also, she's a miss, so I mean,
I
we've
believe
talked
you mean
about this
Ms.
before.
She's
Ms.
not
pardon me,
practicing what she
probably.
preaches.
Ms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she clearly is not practicing what she preaches. She should be a G or a J.
Yeah.
Z or
Wow.
Yeah. Zay, Zim, Zoo. I don't. It depends on which
Zeus.
genderless pronoun you prefer, I guess.
I contend that Miss Derbyshire, or I'm putting the emphasis on the wrong word, Ms. Derbyshire should not be a teacher, and if she was not a Ms., this may be less of a problem because we've had this debate before. Some people shouldn't be educators, other people shouldn't have franchise. This person should have neither, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You should not be doing this to 6-year-olds.
No,
It's an absolute fucking
this
travesty.
person
and
should not be
illegal.
anywhere near children.
Yeah, I almost want to charge you. Like they should be charged with some sort of
Child abuse.
Yeah, child abuse. Exactly. 100%.
Well, and that's I feel like that's what this is because other students have now teased the young girl in question because she's not deciding to be some sort of hetero non-normative person. She has now asked her parents if she can see a doctor because she wants to find out if she is in fact actually a girl and if girls are really a thing. And now she's not sure if she wants to grow up to be a, and I quote, a mommy. And this is possibly the saddest story I've read in a while.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to get extra attention, according to my younger daughter in high school, if you want to get extra attention, you have to be what they call a transtrender, which means you have to either identify as the other sex or claim to be bi, even if you're not, and everything else. And basically, if you're just considered straight, it's like,
it's very boring. Yes.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
this is sort of my problem with it is that it's the promotion of the
cool thing to do.
non-heteronormative lifestyle because you have to be a special snowflake and different, and that's how you get the attention.
Well,
like the
then-
whole,
Yeah.
the entire process irritates me, and the fact that they're using children as political pawns in this is.
Well, and that's sort of my biggest thing. Like I do have some sympathy and compassion for people that do not feel comfortable in their own skin for whatever reason.
Yes, but that's also
creating
being
that
a
problem.
child and going through.
Well, yeah, but for people that legitimately feel, for whatever reason, uncomfortable in their own skin, I feel for them. Like that is, I don't have that problem, and I'm glad that I don't. And I wouldn't wish it on anybody, but to create that problem in somebody because they just naturally feel comfortable in their own skin, I think is horrible. Like absolutely horrible.
Well, and that is my take on this. This is an incredibly sad thing that the Ottawa School Board and this particular teacher has destroyed the self-worth of a young girl who is now suffering damages as a result of this. Like this, they have damaged this child because the child was completely heteronormative and wanted to grow up to be a parent, which is, in my perspective, the thing that the majority of most young girls want to do. And this is not being promoted as an acceptable lifestyle by the Ottawa School Board.
In order
You
to
have
push
to be a.
in order to push this agenda, they've also completely tossed aside their whole no bullying policy. You know, which is the big thing up to about a few years ago, and now it's like taking a backseat, right?
Well, it's no bullying as long as you're going along with the thing that they want. Like if she wanted to be a transgender, or her parents wanted to tell her that she's a boy and she needs to dress as a boy, and they're going to put her on hormone blockers so she doesn't start producing the right amount of estrogen, and they give her SSRIs to deal with the anxiety that she's going to have, and all the other like drugs that they're going to put her on, and increase her risk of suicide by 6 times the national average as a result of this, and all of the other like demonstrably true items that come with gender dysphoria. Like they are breaking this child in the other way. If they wanted to go through all of that stuff and make this person appear to be a transgendered individual and suffer from gender dysphoria, they would be celebrated instead of bullied. But because they want to present a heteronormative way and have a grow up to be a parent, that's
if you're straight,
acceptable
bully away,
to bully
right?
them. Well,
Yeah.
it's yes. I mean, I like we've talked about it before. The last acceptable group to in any way demean is straight white men, but straight white women are not far behind.
Yeah, they're next on the list.
Yeah.
So I feel terrible for this child. I hope that I hope that the school board loses. Obviously, like the $5,000 thing is my tax dollars and like get off my property and stuff. But honestly, the school board should not the school. Schools should not exist. They should not be pushing this onto children. This teacher should not have a job. Like, I have a lot of other problems about this, and I hope that the parents win and take them for everything they're worth.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is where I don't mind my tax dollars being spent, is stuff like this where it matters.
I feel I should remind you that I do not believe that the position or the entire government should exist.
I was hoping that would be funnier than it was. All right.
No, it's true though. I mean,
100%.
but yeah, more places where the government shouldn't exist.
Well, all right. In that case.
Yeah.
Because everybody likes that one. All right. National Post article. Something less ridiculous and makes me rageful about children. Don't believe what Ontario's beer store is saying about liquor sales in Alberta. This is an opinion piece on the National Post. And I feel like Yvonne Martinez might be a listener. So the whole opinion piece that's written is tearing apart all of the ads that the beer stores in Ontario is running about how socially irresponsible it would be to stop having a monopoly on the distribution of beer in Ontario, and comparing and contrasting against the province of Alberta, which is completely free market, although the government does interfere with them in that they regulate how the beer and liquor sales in Alberta are to be performed. But anyone can open a beer or liquor store in Alberta. Anyone can sell any amount of liquor in Alberta, provided that you're selling it to someone who is of legal age to purchase the alcohol, and you're selling it at the times and prices the government says that you have to do.
Easy peasy.
Yeah. Pretty simple.
Yeah. I mean, how dare they operate a legal business?
Yeah.
And
Well,
be,
and there are
be competitive at that.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's really the thing that the Ontario unions, so this is, the ads are primarily being run by the union for the employees that are working at the beer store, not by the actual beer store or what's the is it United Brewers that's the main subsidiary?
Molson is the main
National
one.
Brewers. Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
Molson's and Labatt's. So National Brewers is the prime owner at the beer store.
Yeah.
I do like that they have, for their ads, that they've cherry picked all these statistics, and that they're saying that, it's not responsible, it's not profitable. And Alberta's been doing this for like 25 years. They have 1,500 independently owned liquor and beer stores.
So yeah, clearly it's a horrible line of work to get into.
Yeah. It's a $1 billion a year. It's a $3 billion a year industry in Alberta. It contributes almost $1 billion in revenue. It creates 1,200 jobs. Like, I don't know how many people are employed at the beer store, but I imagine if the beer store went away, those people would be able to get these jobs at the,
private market would be
CPP beer store, right?
Ooh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
With their flagship brand, the show.
Yeah. Yeah. We'd be selling a shit ton of show notes. Yeah.
I was actually living in Alberta when they brought out the privatized business there, and of course there was more than 1,500 retail outlets to start with, but of course the private market prevailed, and capitalism was capitalism. It settled out on a reasonable number, because at first, when they privatized and said anybody can open a store, they had way too many stores. And then they had what they called liquor wars, which was so awesome because you get like 40 ounces for like $7.
Oh baby, it's like California.
But of course, it all sorted itself out, because after a while, people was like, "Wait a minute, we have to actually make a profit long term." And so then they started getting more sensible. And then it just kind of like the market self-regulated, if you can imagine that, without government intervention.
No way.
Yeah, it's weird.
Come on.
I don't know how this worked, but it's without government intervention, the market settled out, became reasonable, and remains competitive, and hires people.
Shocking.
Can we compare and contrast again? So if we look at the article, they reference something that was in the attack ads that were being run by the union that claimed that a 24-pack of Coors Light, P.S. don't drink Coors Light, drink Banquet. That's the correct Coors. Also the official beer. That's actually, we're probably just going to rebrand that. We'll just get labels printed to put over Banquet, and we'll call that show notes.
Coors show notes. Yeah.
Coors show notes.
It's a special brand for us. Yeah.
So the attack ads were claiming that the 24 packs of Coors Light is more expensive in Alberta, which is true. What they failed to mention was that Molson and Labatt's, National Brewers, the company that owns the beer store, they regulate the price per province, not the individual retailer. So the fact that Coors Light was more expensive in Alberta is because the same people that are supplying Coors Light in Alberta as in Ontario said that if you sell this in Alberta, you must meet this minimum advertised price.
And if you don't, you're not allowed to carry it any longer.
That sounds like price fixing.
It sounds awfully illegal.
Price fixing.
I don't know.
Well, manufacturer advertised pricing is not illegal. It's just
not
highly questionable.
Well, it's usually a recommended retail price or a MSRP, just like MSRP on guns, like down the States. They always talk about the MSRP, but you'll get cheaper at Bud's Gun Shop or whatever.
Yeah. So you can say like MAP pricing, so minimum advertised pricing is what you're allowed to advertise for. That doesn't mean you have to sell for that. You can sell for less.
Well, except in the case of beer that's run by National Brewers, because they say the price will be this.
Yeah. So that's illegal.
And that price varies by province.
Yeah.
So whether it's MAP or MSRP, the point remains, the price is not set by the retailer, at least in the case of the item to which they were drawing the comparison. And this seems true of a lot of things, like the whole, it's going to be dangerous because they're not going to check ID. Well, we already sell cigarettes, which I would argue has a higher cost on healthcare than alcohol does in our province. And they sell those at every corner store and gas station in the province. And they have to check for ID on that. So if you can check for ID for cigarettes, how can you not check for ID the same way for beer and liquor?
So as a delinquent minor, I can say that I successfully purchased alcohol more often than I successfully purchased cigarettes.
Yeah,
you got the face for it.
So, I mean, just saying, my track record is that the private business that has more to lose is probably going to do a better job of following the rules than the government-owned store that isn't going to
it'll just keep running. Yeah, it'll just keep running business as usual. It might fire that one employee.
If if a bar serves alcohol to a minor, they get fined and they get shut down. If a liquor store is caught selling alcohol to a minor, the liquor store doesn't have to shut down. Maybe that individual employee gets in trouble, but probably not.
I don't remember if we talked about this. I think we talked about this before, but there was a statistic that came out a couple of years ago, and I mean, okay, so the LCBO is not the beer store, but
but same
close enough.
Same difference.
The LCBO is where you buy liquor in Ontario as opposed to the beer store where you buy beer in Ontario. But the LCBO has a failure rate of like 60%.
Yeah.
So they will regularly send people that should
only
be
marginally better than the TSA.
Right, but like that's what I mean. Like the government audits, like one agency of the government audits another agency of the government. And that agency is the LCBO. And when they get audited and they have people go in and try to purchase booze underage, they only get caught 4 out of every 10 times. They have a 60% failure rate.
Yeah.
So, I mean, your anecdotal experience notwithstanding.
Yeah, there's facts to back it up.
I feel like private industry has a better failure rate than that with selling cigarettes to minors.
Absolutely. And I'm sure if you went into like those like wine stores or like the few grocery stores that are allowed to sell beer, they have a much better rate at catching people underage because they have more to lose.
Well, and I think that's what it comes down to is what you were saying, that the corporation, again, corporation, like a government agency,
conglomerate.
Yes. An arm of the government as opposed to an actual business. They don't have anything to lose compared to the actual business where the individual clerk could be held responsible, or the business itself could lose its license to continue selling that product.
Okay.
So they have a lot more at stake, whereas the government will investigate themselves and send one of their employees for training if they need it.
Yeah, I mean, shit, in Ontario, we've even authorized a handful of private businesses to sell, pot for people to inject.
Well, but where we don't approve it, the city of Toronto will definitely put up concrete barricades in front of their doors, and that's funny.
Yeah. But it just shows, like, funny. Yeah.
let's do post-millennial. Judge rules Doug Ford not responsible for man's intoxication. So apparently some whiny liberal from Niagara tried to blame Doug Ford for his intoxication after he was arrested for drunk driving. The whiny liberal, not Doug Ford, was arrested for drunk driving.
Yeah.
Realized after I said that, the article may not have been clear. So sentence structure, grammar is important. Stay in school, kids. Well, actually, no, don't, because then they won't know what gender you are. Anyway, point being, I agree with a judge, which is unusual because I usually agree with judges about as much
I know.
as
I can't believe common sense prevailed on this one.
I know.
It kind of blew me away when I read it. I was like, "Oh, really? Oh, great! This is great."
Yeah. So the judge's pronouncement was that Doug Ford didn't drink the beer. The man that was arrested for drunk driving drank the beer.
Chose to drink the beer.
I mean,
well, and that was literally his defense, was that the Doug Ford's government decided to extend the hours that alcohol sales were allowed. So that was why he decided to drive drunk at twice the legal limit, was because he could drink for longer because the government told him it was okay. That was
that's not how that works. Because if so, then Trudeau is responsible for, we're on episode 188, so 188 times however many panelists have been on the show, that many of drunken episodes. Like,
yes, but we're all very responsible and we just go to bed. We don't go driving.
Yeah.
We don't podcast and drive.
No,
it's true. Well, and also, I mean,
I think Sean podcasted and drove one time, but he wasn't drinking.
Yeah, but he wasn't drinking.
Yeah. Never all three.
Yeah.
That's right.
Honestly, though, he should have been fined more than 2,000. He should have been fined another. It should have just been max fine like $5,000 for wasting.
Yeah, whatever the max for drinking and driving is.
Yeah.
Plus more for being an idiot.
This freaking snowflake.
Well, plus court costs, basically. Whatever.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Did they say that?
No, they should. But
they should. Yeah, they should. Exactly.
But you know what? He really blamed for it, right? Because he couldn't blame Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Canadian Trump is close enough.
Yeah, he's our Trump light.
Yeah.
That's right. He did the closest thing you could get. So he just said, it's Ford's fault. Devil made me do it. So Ford. Yeah.
Well, but Harper had nothing to do with this.
That's right. No, Harper is literally Hitler. He wasn't the devil.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right.
I always get those guys confused.
Yeah.
They're so alike.
I would guess that $2,000 actually comes close to whatever the maximum fine is for this, because this would be a first offense with the whole 1-year suspension thing.
Yeah, no, it pretty much is. Yeah.
Well,
but I mean, I feel like the fine amount is not sufficient for the
time wasted, taxpayer money wasted, I should say.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, let's fine him and then let's charge him court fees.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just wasted a lawyer, a judge, and you probably had defense attorney provided for you as well, because you're probably broke. You're a lib.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of money there. A lot of money all standing there in a courtroom because you're an idiot.
Well, let's look at other ways the government can waste money in courtrooms.
Yeah, maybe this would have helped give him a lesser sentence.
Well, National Post article. Ontario case could set special rules for sentencing black offenders similar to Gladue for Indigenous people. So R versus Gladue, I hope I'm saying that right. Gladue?
I think that's one of the first words in you recite when you have the Necronomicon.
I mean, maybe. So R versus Gladue is a ruling for Aboriginal persons. This is a 1999
like a case name, basically.
Supreme Court. Yeah, well, it's the defendant.
Okay,
right.
Yeah, Gladue v. the Crown or whatever.
Yeah. So R.V. Gladue. This is a Supreme Court judgment from April 1999, and yes, I had to go look this up because I wasn't aware this was even a law. But the gist of it is, or the way the ruling works is, because I guess I shouldn't say that it's a law, but the way that the ruling is, the way that sentencing will work. If you've been charged with a crime and are an Aboriginal person, there are special cultural considerations the court must take into account in assessing your case. This applies to all Aboriginal peoples in Canada, including status and non-status Indian, Inuit, Métis, and whether living on or off of reservation.
Right, so if it says non-status, does that mean that like I can say that
I
I'm native?
identify as a Métis.
Yeah.
I'm
Louis
one
Riel is my
164th.
spirit animal.
I'm 1/164th Métis.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, hey, if you're going to overthrow the government, like that guy did not have a bad plan.
Yeah.
I mean, execution could have worked out a little bit better, but come on.
Yeah.
Oh,
Zing! You're on fire.
I've been working on that for hours. You don't know how much prep I put into this show. Not enough to go and actually get like a rim shot sound effect, but like a little bit of prep.
Yeah. So like what? Like a quarter of a bottle?
A lot less than you'll find at the Pride Parade this week.
There you go.
So yeah, Gladu's a ruling that says if you're some variant of Native, regardless of your status or affiliation, there may be special sentencing considerations because you're Native. That's basically the rule. Because you're Native, there's special rules because you're Native.
Equality for all.
But some people are a little bit more equal.
Yeah.
and now there's two groups of people that may be more equal.
That's right. It's a little animal farmy, but I mean, so
But it's not actually
depending
done
on
yet. It could.
it's not done, but this might go through. And I mean, the judges, I mean, the Kritarchy in this case, like they are trying to make up case law to impact a certain demographic, the same way the Gladu ruling impacts case law for certain demographics. So the outcome with the Gladu stuff is that if you're some type of Native person, you may get special stuff because as an Aboriginal offender, a restorative justice process may be more appropriate for you. Such processes focus on healing those affected by the criminal act, including the offender, and so are more in line with traditional Aboriginal justice. A restorative justice approach will often allow for a solution with no jail time, which helps reduce the drastic overrepresentation of Aboriginals in Canadian jails.
Hard
The
pass.
last line
Yeah,
is the important line.
The last line, that's what it brought it on, is because basically natives were grossly overrepresented in prisons because they were doing the bulk of the crimes, and so they felt it was a racist thing.
Language
Yeah.
clarification, because they were convicted of doing the bulk of the crime.
There you go. That's true.
We can't prove they were actually doing the bulk of the crime, which is
Yeah.
what this whole thing is predicated on, in this
Yeah.
whole overrepresentation of Black and Native persons. So that was the background, onto the body of the National Post article. So this comes from a case that's just gone to trial from 2014, if I'm not mistaken, where a Black youth in Toronto was caught with a loaded handgun after fleeing from police for totally innocent reasons.
Allegedly.
Well, allegedly innocent reasons.
If you're here, yeah, but he doesn't have an ATT, so like what? He's automatically guilty.
Well, yeah.
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 Moving on.
Well, okay. So this incident took place in 2014, where a Black youth decided to. Well, I guess. Are you still a youth if you're 26?
Well, I guess that depends.
Under certain stats, yes, you are.
Yeah, I mean, are you talking about like, was he involved in some sort of firearms thing that includes pellet guns, airsoft guns, BB guns, spitballs,
Well, he was
everything else?
He was arrested
Yeah.
for commission of other crimes and then found in possession of a loaded handgun. So yes.
Oh, well, then he's totally a minor.
Excellent. All right. So this individual was arrested after fleeing police. They found a loaded handgun. They got around to trial last year. Now they're doing sentencing. So the judge says that he has declared a lenient sentence. This is the judge's own words, to address one small step at a time the problem of disproportionate. Jesus, whiskey makes it hard. The problem of disproportionate incarceration of Black offenders. That's right. I got a lenient sentence for committing crimes and being caught afterwards in possession of a loaded handgun. This is the Kritarchy's way of addressing systemic racism against Black youths in our country. I guess I shouldn't say that. I'm paraphrasing the use piece. The judge's specific language is young Black males, because that's the demographic that's overrepresented in our prison populations.
But
So down the road, once they get every other special interest group taken care of under this similar precedent that's going to be set, are we going to be the only people that get the regular length sentence?
Pretty much. From
Okay,
what
so
I can tell.
so basically, what it'll end up being is we get an extra higher sentence for being a Caucasian male.
Yeah, he gets a
Then
year. We get 10 years. Just carry the
How about
decimal. Just carry the
we
decimal.
just make it a standard thing instead of variable sentences where
Well,
like
I thought justice was supposed to be blind. So basically, two people commit the same crime, should get the same sentence. Period.
that's why like there shouldn't be like judge's discretion in it. It should just be you do X, you get Y.
Yeah.
And there's no bias one way or the other than maybe the person getting convicted or not. But then you just kind of look at it on, a judge by judge basis and go, oh, this person always lets off the white person. There's something fishy there. Maybe we should replace them with somebody else.
Or even maybe go the other way. I thought we were
Yeah.
supposed to be getting guns off the street. Make an example of this guy.
Well, exactly.
So anti-gun. This guy's being charged with possession of an
Yeah.
illegal firearm.
What would it be if you or I were to walk around downtown Toronto and get caught with a loaded handgun?
10 years or more.
Assuming it was registered to you and it was your handgun and you were not in possession of it illegally.
Yeah, we
Careless
get a lesser sentence if it was illegally, yeah.
Right? Like, so 5 years,
If you
possession of a loaded firearm, that's 5 years. One charge for each of the 10 bullets in the magazine I don't think careless ammunition is 5 years apiece.
I think it's a year, or is it
Year, something like that. So I mean, like I'm like it's easy for me to get up to 25 years. I haven't even got to my
life
stand
sentence.
yet. And that's as a legal law-abiding firearms owner, and I'm relatively certain that this individual was not a law-abiding legal firearms owner. This was not a firearm that was registered to him that he had purchased legally and was in possession of a firearms license for.
And I'm
Nor
pretty
are
sure
you allowed to walk down the
everybody
street
in the
with
media
it.
would know your name too. Like there wouldn't be just like unnamed people or like
Oh yeah, they'd
page
raid
7
my house
article.
and then they'd lay it all out on the ground and be like, "Look at this arsenal we've confiscated. This guy's a madman."
Yeah, except for ones that it might actually be an arsenal.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say the one time they might actually use that word right.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the cache of ammunition might actually set them off because what was it last time they had like 500 rounds of 22 and that was like a cache.
Yeah, something like that. It was like 1,000 rounds or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I have 1,000 rounds for like a gun, and I'm like, that means I'm low.
If you don't have the foundation cracked, you have not got enough ammo.
Yeah, I mean, I don't buy.
If you're not worried about explosions,
a lot
and
smaller than 500.
Yeah, if you're not worried about making sure it's a nice dry environment because you don't want explosions.
So this is the Critarchy, in my opinion, having an opportunity to make up laws as they see fit because of supposed systemic racism in our justice system, which
snowflakes, virtue signaling.
Well, yeah, and I fail to see the value of doing like it doesn't feel good politics from the Critarchy because of reasons. Exactly. Like it's a feel good measure for upcomies that we're not going to send us this one young black criminal offender for something that if anybody on the panel today did it, they'd all get like 15, 20 plus years in jail for violating the Firearms Act.
Well, maybe
never mind
like
what other.
Yeah, maybe he'll be like that guy that did the Toronto Raptors victory party shooting where he'd already done some shit and got let out early and then went and did some more shit.
Double murder. Let off on double murder.
I don't like this precedent that they're trying to set. This is not.
No, it has nothing to do with race
whatsoever.
Yeah,
no.
Like if there is judges that are racist, crack down on them for being racist. Don't create a system of laws that lets people out of jail just because they're that's racist.
So the other fun thing that I'm not sure how this came about is for some reason a number of non-governmental organizations decided to get involved in this and intervene on the defendant's behalf. Not his lawyer, other non-governmental organizations. And the list reads like this: the David Asper Center for Constitutional Rights, the Criminals Lawyers Association, that they seem trustworthy, the Aboriginal Legal Services, South Asian Legal Clinic of Ontario, Chinese and Southeast Asian Legal Clinic.
Because they want to get
Color
on
of
the train.
well, Color of Poverty, Color of Change Network, the Black Legal Action Center, Canadian Civil Liberties Association, Canadian Muslim Lawyers Association, the Urban Alliance on Race Relations, and the Canadian Association of Black Lawyers. Seems like a very almost diverse
Yeah.
group of people.
Yeah. Very diverse, less one.
Well, they all seem to have a specific
Yeah.
group in mind.
Yeah.
We're all pandering to our little special needs groups.
Right. I'm surprised there wasn't like the Association of Gay Lawyers in there too.
Or LGBTQ.
Well,
Lawyers
they were probably
Association.
at the parade because it's Pride Month.
Yeah. They were pandering to a different audience, yeah.
The only group that I contend is not racially motivated in this group is the David Asper Center, and that is only because I cannot directly tie them to that because they're an arm of the University of Toronto, which in of itself makes me not trust them as far as I could throw them if I could.
Yeah.
They tried to. Yeah.
Well, it's the University of Toronto, right? So
Yeah. Liberal.
I mean,
Cuck University of Toronto.
yes, and this is run by a group of Caucasian cat ladies. Like seriously, go look at their staff of like the people that work at this David Asper Center for Constitutional Rights at the University of Toronto. It's a bunch of women that I think we're gonna have to do wellness checks on because I'm worried they're gonna get eaten by their cats.
Only if we do it like they do out east.
But everyone else, for the most part, I think has a very vested racial issue here. Like some of them, like right in the name, the South Asian Legal Clinic, the Chinese and Southeast Asian Legal Clinic, the Color of Poverty, the Black Legal Action Center, the Urban Alliance on Race Relations. I mean, it doesn't say that it's for a certain group of people, but it kind of strongly implies that in the title. Then go look at their website and tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And the Canadian Association of Black Lawyers, of which I'm pretty sure again we're pandering to a specific demographic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man, you got to go to the Urban Alliance on Race Relations website. There, that is a group of people.
Going now.
I am so glad they used that as their cover art for their website. I don't know which one of these is my favorite people. The guy with the hashtag T-shirt "Unite to Stop Hate," or the gal with the future is her shirt.
And the one, or the one just pointing her.
Yeah, there's some choices that were made in the design decisions on that website.
She's
but
like
again, I mean,
I want to talk to a manager.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to guess, but
it seems like it might be racially motivated.
Well, given that they all happen to be of a particular race.
Well, and that they specifically say that they are trying to achieve a city without anti-black racism. That seems contradictory. A city without anti-black racism. Is that a double negative?
I think it is. I definitely think that is.
I'm slightly confused by their. Yes, I would. This seems very motivated that the Critarchy is out to try and make some people more equal than other people.
Yeah.
But everyone will be equal because of.
Well, everyone except for us.
Basically.
That's just your privilege talking.
Yes.
Yes. Pardon me while I go and pay some more taxes.
Yes.
And support all of them.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do another thing where we're wasting my money. The government is doing something useless. Although I guess this is the Quebec government, so not my government, but kinda.
Yeah. Well, your transfer payments all go there. So.
Sorry, Alberta, your transfer payments all go there. Ontario is also a have-not state. That small s, you know what I mean. Drivers stuck on Highway 13 during 2017 snowstorm can now file for compensation. Drivers stuck during a snowstorm can file for compensation.
Because I wasn't prepared to be stuck in a snowstorm in wintertime Quebec, so therefore it's the government's fault.
Yeah, give me money. I want money. Money.
Give
How
me
can they prove who was and was not stuck there?
Oh, clear.
Oh,
I
you
was
have to
there.
provide a note. You have to provide it. So there are some.
So we were all
Oh,
on a
God,
road
this
trip,
is-
right?
Yeah, totally.
100%. And then we have to retroactively get some doctor's notes to say we had to take time off work because then we get bonus money.
Oof.
Yeah, my
No,
neck
for serious.
hurts.
That's how this works. So
I think we were all driving out to New Brunswick for a clown convention or something, weren't we?
Yeah.
Wasn't there
Yeah,
something
we're
going
going
on?
to Rescue.
That's
Yeah.
right. I heard there's like a lover of clowns there, and
Yeah.
yeah.
So if I'm not mistaken, applicants will have 3 months starting on Wednesday the 26th. It says Wednesday. I assume they mean the upcoming Wednesday from when the story was originally published. So Wednesday the 26th of June, they have 3 months to file, and compensation will range from $350 for those stranded 4 hours or less to $1,100 for those who were stranded for 10 hours or more.
Oh, we
Also,
were totally
25%
stuck.
bonus is added. 25% bonus added for people who are more equal than others: children under 12, people over 75, pregnant women, people with medical conditions, and those who were hospitalized within 48 hours or had to stop working as a result of the incident.
Wow, that's I think that's all of us.
How can
Yeah.
we prove? Yeah, how can we prove this? I mean, I was there.
I feel like
You were
a
there. I
doctor's
saw
note.
you there. I saw you
I mean,
there.
I have a medical condition. I'm diabetic.
Yeah, I'm allergic to penicillin, and some penicillin got into my bloodstream while I was on the highway.
Are you
down
actually
there.
allergic to penicillin? Because if that's the case, you and I spend a lot of time together, and you need a sign.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, Dave. You,
Yeah, we're
you
gonna
get
get you a
on
sign.
that because I have one of those because I am also allergic to the wonder drug.
Yeah, I used to have one, and then it kept falling off, and then I was like,
You
I
need
don't
a
think it's
better
a good problem.
Velcro product.
Yeah, or
You
maybe
should
I
talk to
just
the
get it
guys at
tattooed.
talk to the guys at Patch Panel. They'll hook you up with a better Velcro patch.
All right.
Yeah,
I wanna
free
get
advertising
some of
for Patch Panel. I'm
I
okay
want to
with
get some of
that.
those
Yeah,
patches.
they're good guys.
Patch panel, so they can do
Yeah.
custom patches.
Yeah.
I might get that for as prizes for PR. Good idea.
So they're actually the guys that I designed it, but they're the guys that made the
Did our hat
beaver
one?
patch. The beaver
beaver one?
patch. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like my favorite patch in the world.
Okay, small
Yeah.
tangent. Back to news. One more, guys.
Part.
No, but seriously, if you're stuck in a snowstorm in Canada, you get nothing. Nothing.
You're in goddamn Canada. What's wrong with you? What is wrong with this place?
Yeah, this is
Wrong.
People are idiots.
Yeah.
Well, I just got to make sure to write down the dates. I'm gonna take a little video net from now on if I get caught in any kind of snow squall or anything like that while I'm driving. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a freaking payday in a few years.
I mean, was that the first snowstorm ever in Quebec or something? Was this like a shock to their system? They'd never seen it before?
Yeah, they certainly
You know what
never
it
went
is?
through the streets with flamethrowers trying to melt all the snow.
Oh.
I finally figured out what we're doing with the carbon tax.
Ah.
This is how you get your carbon tax back. You have to sue the government.
We're making it snow. Oh,
I feel like this is a callback to the other week when we were talking about that rapper in the 90s.
let's just blame him.
All right, let's last one. It's on the CBC. Controversial armored vehicle to be set up in Sackville Memorial Park upsets residents.
I guess there's a bunch of snowflakes in Sackville.
Well, they wouldn't have been stuck on the highway if they had that armored vehicle.
Yeah, they probably would have been. It's a Cougar.
So, yeah, who's it controversial to?
Snowflakes?
Sackville residents?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like feeling safe. I know if I see one, I feel pretty safe. There's a freaking armored APC standing beside me.
I would pretty much proudly display one in my front yard, but hey.
Yeah.
I still feel like we could do better than a Cougar, but okay.
Yeah. It's a start.
I mean, if I could fit it into my living room in my condo, I'd do it. But all I can really fit right now is my motorcycle. But if I could, I
no,
would.
but I mean, like, it's just kind of like an up armored car. Like, it's got like tires and stuff. Like, you could drive that around.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It could be my everyday.
Yeah.
I'm a grocery getter. You know how many groceries you can fit in the back of that thing?
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with people.
Well, and this is
It's
my
like, why is it even new? Like, how can you possibly complain about this? And then who's willing to even listen to somebody complain about this?
CBC.
Apparently, there are a lot of people and the CBC, and they managed to get a doctor. Although of what I don't know, I feel that it's some sort of medicine.
history.
Yeah.
But seems unlikely.
Yeah,
So
I know.
there are residents that are opposed to this. So the 8th Canadian Hussars, Princess Louise's regiment, has donated a Cougar AVGP to the town, put on display. So that's right. There'll be one more Cougar walking around Sackville. No, wait, I guess it's one more Cougar at the park in Sackville.
I've been to
One less-
Sackville.
one
There's
less
quite
one
a
big.
few.
So Princess Louise's regiment's donated an armored vehicle. These are from the 70s. They've been replaced by the Lavs. In the park, there is already a Ferret armored car, a cenotaph, a propeller, and an anchor. Because it's almost like it's a public park, and that's a thing that we should do is like honor our war dead and our veterans.
Yeah,
And
they made us strong
look
and
at
free.
public monuments that represent our values as Canadians, and like,
Pay homage to all the blood spilled on the battlefields.
yeah, I mean, I don't know about you guys. Like, one of my favorite places to walk where I live is actually to the cenotaph with my kid. Because it's one of the nicest parts of town. It's clean, it's landscaped, and it's like a sentimentally important part of our town because it's for a regiment that no longer exists, and it has the names of everyone who was killed in World War II on it from our county.
Yeah, I mean, in my area, the cenotaph is in the little small town that is no longer there because it's been gobbled up and turned into Mississauga. But like, I've spent quite a significant amount of time there, and I have been to the Remembrance Day assemblies there. You know, and I feel glad that we still have one, and people come out en masse there.
Yeah, and I see no problem with that. I don't agree with the residents' assessment of this. So one of the neighbors whose property backs onto this park, remembering that this is a public park in a small town in New Brunswick, she says that a second armored vehicle could be an upsetting symbol for the people who use those park. She says I don't feel it's the best way for a memorial park to commemorate veterans and those affected by a war. I don't feel that it's the best way for a memorial park to commemorate veterans and those affected by war. Well, how else do you expect to memorialize them exactly?
Yeah.
She also says that refugees starting a new life in Sackville may be troubled by the armored vehicle sitting in the middle of town.
Why? Because the
Well,
vehicle that brought them freedom?
There's already a Ferret armored car in that park. So, I mean, this is somehow different. I appreciate the 8th Canadian Hussars have donated another monument to their community because this is a regiment of citizen soldiers in that town. This is like the equipment that they would have used. This is not the equipment the current generation of citizen soldiers would use, but this is something that they have that has been used, right? So people are going to recognize it and know it. And I mean, nothing against the Ferret armored car, but that's 3 generations out of date. Not that it should go away or that it should be replaced, but I see no problem with having like, this is what we used to have. This is something else we used to have. Like this is a part of our heritage, and these are things that our soldiers used, and we have a regiment from this town that's fought
in them.
Well, and I mean, look at the battle honors of the 8th Hussars. They've been everywhere.
And just like they used to have, like, the big old iron cannons in Halifax, or older artillery pieces of World War I mean, you think this would be less triggering than those. So I don't understand why she's getting all upset about this.
And, I mean, to be honest, like, you think there would be a very large population of Irish Catholics that would not be fond of the Ferret armored car. Just saying. But nobody takes that into consideration.
Well, I mean, I don't see the problem with it. And yes, okay, so some different governments have used the Ferret for different purposes. Like getting rid of those dirty Catholics in Ireland.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Irish don't care because they're the Irish.
They don't let stuff bother them.
Yeah.
And they're logical most of the time.
Well,
sometimes.
So let's the other thing I wanted to get to is that about the message that this sends, which is a big part of the piece. So they get Dr. Ross Thomas. He lives in the area, and he questions what kind of message the cougar will send to children who play in the park. Well, it's a monument to our military, so it's probably going to send a message of, hey, at one point we used to actually have a military.
That because they fought and died, you're allowed to play in this park.
Yeah.
Or complain about it.
Yeah, and have the right to complain about it, even though you're an idiot.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the reason that they're allowed to be idiots is because somebody gave them that freedom.
So, well, we should not give them too much freedom because
yeah, I know.
The good doctor has some excellent quotes that I have to share.
Let's hear another.
We have all this effort going on to stop bullying, and I think it just reinforces that you can solve problems with force.
You know.
Well, I mean, to be fair, violence is not the answer until it's the only answer.
And then you need to have extreme violence to solve your problems.
Well, and not just violence, but like, speed and surprise.
Quickness of action.
Speed, surprise, and violence of action.
Yeah, those three things combined are the answer.
and this is the problem. And I'm all for, like, yes, let's not bully people, but also let's not draw false dichotomies between bullying and military conflicts.
Yeah.
When this is when we use our military to enforce the will of our government, because, like, don't be mistaken, the military does not just decide to go to war to things. This requires an act of parliament. At least it's supposed to require an act of parliament, although we get involved in so many police actions.
And when you put blue helmets, you put blue helmets on them, and you don't need that. It's okay.
Right, that's a different thing. But the whole purpose of the military is to enforce the will of our government onto other states. Big ass.
Yeah.
If you don't understand how that works, I mean, again, I'm not sure what this guy is a doctor of, but he probably should not.
Not history.
Definitely not history. That was more of me.
That's certainly not.
Yeah.
But
this guy's an idiot.
It's not bullying when you use your military's power to enforce your political will on another country. Bullying is when I pick on him for being a shitty doctor. That's bullying.
Philosophy.
That's an action.
That's my next guess.
Is it really bullying, though, if it's factual?
Well, no. This is the difference between, like, slander and actual fact.
How will he know he's shit if we don't tell him he's shit?
Well, that's the, like, it does not reinforce bullying. Like, violence is the ultimate standard of how our world works, and I regret that we live in a time of unusual peace, because we have all of these weak-willed people as a result of this, because we are not supposed to live in a perfectly peaceful, harmonious, one world, one love society. People are inherently violent. The one power of government that I am willing to concede at the national level is the enforcement of borders, which is, in short, the deployment of our military and arms to defend our country from invaders. That is the one legitimate purpose of government, is the enforcement of national borders. Everything else the government does, I have significant problems with, but I'll concede that if we're going to be a state, big ass, then the one function of a national government is to provide for the protection of those borders, to enforce the sovereignty of our state. And it's not bullying when you repel invaders. And I mean, I argue that it's not bullying if we decide to annex Austria for their natural resources. I mean, maybe we don't want to do that because we're not directly next to Austria, or because they have shitty natural resources. But if we decide to annex someone else, I mean, again, that's not bullying. We're exercising our martial power over our enemies.
Yeah. We're not necessarily saying it's the correct thing to do, but it's not bullying.
No, it's not. So false dichotomies and various other fallacies that this doctor is prescribing. The other thing that I find interesting. You like that? I've been practicing.
Yeah, I can tell.
I told you I do show prep. I drink a lot of show prep, actually. The other thing that, of course, that we're going to go into is because we live in an incredibly litigious society, the good doctor's concern is it is inevitable that when kids see it, they want to climb those things, unless you're going to put a big cage around it. So he
No,
wants to know who's
gonna
going to be
have fun.
liable for if people fall off of it. Well,
But
there's
what if, they
already,
fall, what if they fall off the
Yeah.
cage?
But dare
or
those
what if
kids
they
have
fall
fun?
off the ferret that's already there?
Yeah.
In any event, their parents are responsible for them.
Yeah.
Because we have
Well,
not signed our
yeah.
children over to the state, despite what the doctor may want us to do.
I mean, ultimately, we all are because we're paying for their health care anyway. So, and his salary to be a shitty doctor.
That's a good point. I had not considered that. I was busy being like, why don't we just
But
have
yeah.
a lawyer sort this out? No, just put the responsibility on the holders
Yeah.
of the property, and by that I mean the children and their parents.
Yeah.
Got to be
Don't
the worst
tell
one
your-
there.
Don't
Yeah.
let your children play on.
Yeah. Don't let them climb on
Basically, don't let your children do stupid things. Like, that's your role as a parent.
Yeah. And if they do, then
Tell 'em
deal
it's
with the
their-
consequence.
Yeah, tell them it's their fault for being stupid. You know.
Yeah. I mean, this is how Harambe got shot.
Right? Like,
May he rest in peace.
because what does this guy expect? Like, the army is going to take responsibility for people abusing these monuments? Or
Yeah.
like the city put them in, so the city's going to be responsible for them now, which I guess you could make that argument because it's a public park. But I mean, who's liable if you slip and fall at a public park? Do you think you're going to win that lawsuit against the city?
No.
They
I mean,
didn't
they
solve
have
it.
all of
They
my
didn't
tax
solve it.
dollars.
Yeah.
I
They
mean,
didn't solve it.
my biggest
I don't
concern would be
know,
somebody
man.
trying to jack it and put it in their garage and fix it up. But
I mean, road trip?
yeah, I'm just saying, dude.
Did somebody in Poland just do that?
I mean, I think we need to time this road trip so that we get caught in a snowstorm in Quebec. But yes, I'm in.
Yes. Agreed.
Again, I
Maybe
still
the
feel
old
like we
back
could do
and
better
forth.
than a cougar, but I'm willing to take
Hey,
what's being offered.
If they're offering any other donations,
There's a plane in
CPP
pet.
/ Ragnarok will gladly take one. Gladly.
Well, who's our local? Dear First is ours. That's the closest is ours unit to me. Dear First is ours. If you're not currently using any of your lavs, I will happily take one.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
So will I.
just
or
refer to it.
cougars or ferrets or anything you've got.
Just call it dry
anything.
storage. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
willing to offer dry storage for you or something. You just
It doesn't even have to run. I'll fix
Yeah.
it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine.
lovingly
know stuff.
maintain it. Yeah.
I know stuff. I'll fix it. Don't worry.
Yeah, I will go out to the garage and I will love it and I will read it bedtime stories and I will
Yep.
tuck it in
I will pet it.
and
Yeah.
I will put a 25 millimeter chain gun on the top of it and drive it around.
and a really
Yeah.
big horn.
Yes.
The
You know,
biggest.
maybe
well,
one of
and
those fancy ones.
it will
Yeah.
conveniently come with one of those flashy light things because all of our armored vehicles for the last like 30 years have had that stupid light on them.
Oh yeah, I can get those for you. I have those at work.
Nice.
Perfect.
Maybe an air raid siren too, or something. We can wind it up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Be okay with that.
Sweet.
Incoming.
All right, let's talk about charity shoot.
Well,
That's,
because
oh.
we've had a few quotes from the doctor. I have one quote that I would like to end this on because I think it's important. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep.
Which I think has just kind of happened.
We're waking up.
Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you, Saxo.
yeah.
Being
Basically,
so
if you guys
cucky.
don't want your armored vehicle, I'll take it and I will
Yeah.
display it on my lawn or whatever. We can put up a cenotaph next to. I don't like this is.
Yeah. I will
This
put a
is annoying.
cenotaph on my lawn. I'm good with that.
All right, let's talk about the charity shoot.
Yeah.
Charity shoot, yeah.
Cool. July 6th. It's coming up. Two more weeks? Yeah, 2 more weeks. Canada Day long weekend and then the charity shoot. Drumheller District Shooting Association, rifle shooting, pistol shooting, steel at various ranges, some sort of IPSC style shooting, axe and knife throwing, take a stop to bleed course with Gavin.
Yep.
Do a maple seed with maple seed people.
So Gavin, on a
Yeah.
scale of 1 pod cart to 5 pod carts, how much are you looking forward to this one?
It'll be fun times. I'll be there. Ian will be there. Angela will be there.
I'm not sure if you're ignoring Dave or if you're just trying to move on in an awkward way.
No, I was just being funny.
Okay. So register, go on.
Kind
Go
of
on
jealous.
Eventbrite,
I've always
or,
wanted to
like,
go out west, but this year's not the year.
Yeah, don't
well,
worry.
we have guns to shoot in Ontario.
Yeah, you
Or
guys are
maybe-
doing all kinds of fun stuff. Yeah, don't worry. I'll shoot some guns for you.
Excellent.
I'll drink some alcohol for you.
Actually, the one thing that they haven't mentioned, we haven't mentioned before, but it was covered on another as yet unnamed podcart, is the fact that ATRS is bringing out a bunch of prohibs
Yeah.
to shoot and pay by the bullet. So, so far, I think they got the subcompact pistols locked down, but they're actually trying to get machine guns out there, waiting on CFO approval. So, if you're interested in shooting anything that normally you can't get your hands on, this might be a big chance too. So that's something else that may appeal to people. So.
That's always badass.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to fighting or running down a PPK or some sort of full auto business. Who knows?
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
So are you going to be attending this as well then, Ian?
I am.
Nice.
Actually, I'm starting to drive out. I'm actually having a bit of a discussion back and forth with CFO right now. They don't like the idea of me kind of doing my trip in stages, but I'm working on that.
I don't know. I just tell them I'm going from here to there, from this date to that date. That's what I did last year for last year's podcart. And
Have you
Yeah.
tried
Gabe.
telling them that you're going to celebrate the Raptors' recent basketball win in Toronto?
I should try that.
Well,
Maybe.
apparently you can get an ATT to do whatever you want in downtown Toronto as long as it's
Yeah.
related to a basketball game.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, no, I'm
Alright.
going to bring a couple rifles out for sure to try the flapjack shooting. Take it from there.
Cool. It's is there no other event? I thought we used to have another event in the stack.
Well, they expired already. That was the precision rimfire for last weekend, as well as the
Oh.
maple seed, the ones that I
Didn't-
promptly missed.
Yeah, didn't you get work cucked on those?
I did, but the good news is, good news, bad news things. I did get to, accidentally kind of pseudo on purpose via the Facebook postings run into the goddess of the CCFR,
Miss Tracy.
Miss
Wow.
Tracy Wilson. Yeah, actually, it's so funny because I just read her Facebook post. I was walking down the hallway, I looked up, and there she was. I was like, oh, it's like Rockstar sighting. Oh.
You are real.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I made a point of talking to her, and she was super cool and super nice, and yeah,
She is
that was-
indeed.
yeah,
She's a wonderful lady.
she's a very wonderful lady. So, and works tirelessly to promote firearms, responsible firearms use in the community, and paint I guess, a non-standard picture of the average firearms owner, which is great. It's
Yeah.
definitely what we need.
And if she's out there listening, we appreciate you, Tracy.
Yes, very much so.
appreciate
And if she's
Yeah.
not listening, she should be.
Yes, also true.
So find the post on Facebook and then tag her in it, because that would be funny for me. We have almost 1,000 people that like us on Facebook. If each of you go and share this with Tracy, I would find that very amusing.
Yes. And while you're on the Facebooks, you can you can follow like Ragnarok, and then when you're in that and you click like on that if you haven't already, then go to the events page, and from there you can buy tickets to the Stop the Bleed thing that I'll be teaching out west. So even if you're not going to show up, you can still buy a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Your money goes to the charity, which, in case we haven't announced, it is Big Country Anti-Violence Association and the local Humane Society.
Always on board for the Humane Society for sure.
Yeah, people suck. Animals are awesome.
Yeah, love my doggos.
It's
Yeah.
true. Dogs are the best people.
They
Yeah.
are. It's very
All
true.
right,
Ian's giant black hawk is also okay, I guess.
Yeah, he was actually he's quite the internet star there the next day at the 4-H meeting too. They're like, oh my god, we saw him. So
Nice.
Oh dear. Does your children's 4-H club listen to the show?
occasionally, yes, my daughter listens
Oh, my.
tirelessly, and she does tend to share the show. But you know what? The more people we can wake up and
I
give
mean-
them proper colored pill, the better.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I also just spent a significant amount of time ragging on the government for breaking children. So for everyone who listens with their children, I apologize.
But
No,
this might
you know-
stop them from getting broken.
Exactly.
We
Most-
do not present family-friendly content.
Most of the kids that I know that are listening to this right now are happy to have been kind of shaken awake on a lot of stuff because they fully agree that the school system is broken, and yet they're trying to complain about it from within, and they're not being heard either. So it's probably a good thing.
Yeah, they also appreciate my lemon party drop. So
that did make the rounds. Yes,
I'll try to get a next one for them for next week. Give them something to look forward to.
I feel really bad that young adults are listening to our podcast. This is not child appropriate material. Go and talk to your parents about what you're doing on the internet, damn it.
Well, their parents don't speak English, a lot of them, so it's okay.
Well, go and translate what I'm saying to your parents and tell them to take away your internet, damn it.
But like, make sure you get your parents woke first, like, and then they can stop you from listening. Yeah.
If your parents are on board with the message, then yeah. Sorry to the BC 4-H club. That's
Although maybe they should be renamed to the 3-H club.
Oh. It's true. Go read that book, Hans Hermann Hoppe. Great book.
Yeah.
Well, good author, great book. Democracy, the God That Failed. The reason why I want to be a libertarian, but also the reason I can't.
No, but we can invest in, aviation fuel.
It's true. All right. Outro time. Where can everybody find everybody? We'll start with Dave. Do you have an internet personality or maybe your ORA information?
You can follow me on the IGs at Diesel6223. Posting there fairly regularly, almost every week. Some sort of competition I'm shooting and or posting about. And if you guys are interested in shooting PR, hit me at the oraprecision@gmail.com or check out the website for the ORA if you're in the Ontario area. Lots of fun.
If he gets enough followers on the Instagrams, he'll start up a secret after hours Snapchat for you guys.
Mm-hmm. That's no lie.
I'm hesitant to even ponder what that might be. It's like just Dave laying on his living room floor trying to dry fire practice. Yeah, baby, look at that bolt go in.
Yeah,
goes in and it goes out.
Very suggestive.
Oh yeah, perfect trigger pull every time.
Smooth as an infield, baby.
Yeah,
I'll be wearing some of those South African short shorts.
Nice.
Hard pass. Gavin, where can everybody find you on the internet?
You can typically find me on the Instagrams at Urbix_GTA. That's where you'll find me and all of my shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Ian, where can everyone find you? I heard you've got a pod cart.
Well, it seems I'm not there half the time nowadays because they changed the broadcast day to a day that I'm usually working. But anyway, you can email me at theislandretreat@gmail.com. And you can also find me on Canadian Prepper Podcast. Now it's on iTunes as well. We record the podcast live on my YouTube channel now. It's called Canadian Prepper Podcast.
Heck yeah.
I've enjoyed the last couple of episodes.
Yeah, next one's Wednesday, and it's on personal EDC, so it should be fun.
Ooh, nice. I just want to give a quick shout out. So if you guys are into the fishing, you should also check out my buddy James's podcast at Leaky Waders. I was hanging out with him this weekend. He's a good dude.
Nice.
I have no patience for fishing, but I'd be willing to listen.
It's only like a half-hour one.
Nice. Yeah, that's what I mean. Nice. Like, I'm willing to listen. I'm just not willing to actually go fishing. It's like my take on hunting. I don't want to get up early in the dark, in the cold or the wet, to go and lay in the cold or the wet to possibly shoot something that I might get to eat.
It's delicious, though. So
yeah, but I mean, I'm real low investment on this stuff.
Fair.
All right, You can find me at ragnaroktechnical.ca. If you're still listening at this point, you should use the discount code Patriot at checkout. It'll save you a couple of bucks. Everything, as always, $10 flat rate domestic shipping. I don't know if I have to specify domestic because I turned off international shipping because all you weirdos overseas that want to buy like a bandage from me, it is not worth it for me to ship to you.
Sorry. I feel like that's kind of like a bot. It sounds bottish.
Why don't we just jack?
No, I had one guy in California that we tried to send him a t-shirt like 4 times and UPS or USPS kept losing it. So I'm just like, I just don't ship to America anymore. Your postal service sucks.
Wow. Brutal.
I'm sure by now 3 of them have come found and have been delivered. But anyway,
I'll be living the high life
Yeah.
with his CPP shirts.
well, no,
Right,
I don't think he
Rogers.
was. I don't think he was trying to like USPS. I opened a claim with like they legitimately lost them. Like they
Mm.
went into a mail facility and they never came back out again.
Weird. Government losing
Yeah,
packages?
government. I
Weird.
know I've never heard of a postal service ever losing the mail.
Super weird. Yeah.
I think that covers that off. Send us your
Well-
feedback. We care about what you think. Unless you have criticisms, then keep them to yourself.
Well, I mean, or if you do have a criticism, at least tell us what the criticism actually is.
That's true. So you can email us
Yeah.
feedback at CanadianPatriotPodcast.com. I have to apologize to Rod Giltaca,
Sorry, Rod.
but only because he ordered stuff for me and it took me a day to ship it.
Yeah.
He didn't use the Patriot discount code though. He used the CCFR discount code. So I know where his allegiance lies. It's not with my podcast, and I will take that very personally.
Yeah. I mean, he still knows the rules, right? He's got to compete in Thunderdome.
1 man or 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. That's the rules, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. For all of our listeners out there in podcast land, I want to remind you that you are the true north, strong and free.